Imagine trying to build the perfect machine learning model only to face the tedious and error-prone process of manually having to package your code, pushing these container images to registry, and having to restart servers every time you make a change. So without CI/CD or continuous integration, continuous deployment, this would be the daily grind for developers and ML engineers. So that is why CI/CD is a really important concept within DevOps that relieves developers and machine learning engineers of the manual pain of having to, by automating the build, tests, and deployment of AI models. So by automatically building, testing, and versioning the models and the dependencies, that includes the dataset, code, and configuration, CI/CD by far allows large teams to collaborate and deploy seamlessly without having to worry too much about errors and conflicts, because it will help minimize those type of risks. And that is why in this particular video, we'll talk about how you can integrate KitOps and specifically ModelKits with the help of GitHub Actions. Because as we know that ModelKits, they offer a way to package your models with the different kind of artifacts like code metadata into a single consistent unit. So when you are able to combine that with GitHub Actions, which is a CI/CD platform offered by GitHub, these tools can help you build CI/CD pipelines to be able to automate some of the key tasks such as unpacking your models, the ability to test them and deploy them. So let's look at how you can leverage and integrate both ModelKits with the help of GitHub Actions to create reliable workflows for machine learning based applications. And of course, as we know that with the help of GitHub Actions, by leveraging the built-in workflows, jobs, and runners, we can completely automate our pipeline. So whether it is just unpacking your model, or perhaps you are pushing some new changes to your dataset, the GitHub action with the help of the workflows and the jobs that you define can automate this task for being able to build and also then push your model kits. So let's look and dive deeper into how this would basically look like. So I have a GitHub repository already prepared right now where I have some docs, I have a kit file, so we can quickly explore the kit file. At the moment, you can see that it is based on a Llama 3 model where I have the code with all of the path for these particular files, and the model is going to be a Llama 3 model in which I have provided the model file path as well. Now, of course, what we want to avoid doing is avoid pushing large code such as your model GGUF file, which could be easily between 5 to 10 gigabytes in size. So rather than pushing these models directly, what we can do is that we can actually unpack the model within our GitHub pipeline or the CI/CD pipeline and store that as an artifact rather than directly pushing it to the repository. So this can help us to really just optimize our storage and keep the repository really lightweight. Now, the way that GitHub action works is that you can define the action on whether it should be a push event, or if you're creating a pull request, you can automate the generation of the GitHub workflow. So whenever you want to create a new workflow, you always create a .github directory, and within that you create a separate directory called as workflows. In this case, I've created a new GitHub workflow.yaml. And here, what we are trying to do is the name, of course, is deploying our Llama 3 model to Jozo Hub. Here we have two main jobs. One is unpack to model. So this job will install Kit. It will unpack our Llama 3 model into models folder, and then we upload that folder to the GitHub artifact. And then the next action that we have defined is path to Jozo Hub, or push to Jozo Hub, where basically depends on the pack to model job. So once this one will run, then we'll be able to push, we will be able to use this particular job. In this case, we will log into Jozo Hub, it will pack our artifact and push it to the Jozo Hub repository. So that is why you'll see that in the case of the push to Jozo Hub, we are leveraging the ability first is to download that artifact. Then we will go ahead and again install Kit and log into our Jozo account, and we will push the model kit. Now, just to kind of show you a reference, because of course this can take time. So here you can see one of the successful runs that we had in which both the jobs ran successfully. So first one was to actually go ahead and unpack the model. So you can see that we install Kit, then we unpack the model and we save it to this models folder and upload this particular artifact. And upon the successful upload of this particular model, once we have deployed it to the artifact, or we have pushed it to the artifact, then we have the push to Jozo job created. And here you can see again that we log into Jozo Hub, we pack that particular model kit, and we finally push the model kit over to Jozo. And you can see that now it has been updated to this particular latest tag. So what we're also doing is that we are, when we are pushing this particular file, we are also taking in the environment the latest tag. So of course, based on the tag that you might have, the next tag, it will take that GitHub SHA SHA value for your commit ID, and it will create a new one. So in this case, it pushes this particular file and the model kit, and you can see that if I go to the model kit's content, you can find the package, the model as well with the GGUF format. So we didn't have to push it directly through GitHub. We can manage it directly with the help of the artifacts from GitHub. So in this case, we have defined that the event will be on push. So let's take a look on how we can re-trigger this pipeline in order to update. So let's trigger the pipeline again by adding a new file. So I'll just go ahead and create a new file over here. For now, we'll just call it kitfile.markdown, and we'll paste a sample kit file over here. I'll just say this is a sample kit file, and we will go ahead and commit these changes. And let's see if it actually re-triggers the pipeline by going into the actions. And you can see that now there's a new workflow run that has instantiated. And again, the flow would be pretty much the same as last time, that we would unpack the model, the Llama 3 model, into our model artifact, and then we'll upload that artifact to GitHub temporarily. And then from there, we will be able to push the changes that have taken place within the code to Josu Hub. And in that case, that would first, of course, complete this particular job, and then this would in turn trigger the next job, which is push to Josu. So this can, of course, take a bit of amount of time because it is unpacking almost a 5.5 gigabyte size model, and then it is also uploading it to the artifact and then pushing it. So usually this run could last anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes. But the idea is pretty much fairly straightforward, that whenever you are going ahead and making any change to your code, to the models, or to your data sets, you don't have to worry about having to rerun the pipeline or having to always manually unpack your data, in this case, your KitOps file, because everything, of course, the first thing is ModelKit is able to package together everything at once, and you don't have to worry of having to repeat that process each and every time. By defining when you want the action to get triggered, in this case, we have done the push action, that whenever we are pushing to main, it will automatically re-trigger that particular action, and we can just manage that very easily. Now, of course, a couple of things in mind that we did end up creating within. So if you go to our secrets and environments within GitHub Actions, we have created 2 repository secrets, one for Josu email and Josu password, in order for us to authenticate and be able to log into Josu. And one more thing that you'll also carefully look at the workflow.yaml. So we are having a few environment variables over here, including the artifact name, the repository name. So this should basically match the repository that you have within Josu. Then, of course, the username would be the one that you have on Josu, because as you will see that the way that we are using these particular environment variables, like the kit pack, where we are passing the username and we are passing the repository name. So do ensure that these do match the environment variables that we have defined within our YAML. And of course, in this case, we are using the tag that we get from the GitHub commit ID. But if you want to change that and have like a more custom workflow, then you can always customize this particular workflow.yaml file and keep it updated for your own workload or your own use case. But that's a quick overview of how you can basically leverage the GitHub Actions for being able to package your model kits and really showcase the value of using both KitOps and model kit with the help of CI/CD tools like GitHub Actions. So thank you so much for watching. You can also take a look at a bunch of different blogs that we have written around the topic of how you can leverage GitOps with Argo CD, Jenkins, and a bunch of other different types of CI/CD tools that all help to simplify this process of maintaining these machine learning projects and not having to worry too much about having too many stakeholders, whereas now with CI/CD, you can work across different teams and don't have to worry about having to work multiple times. So that is basically the benefit that you get with the help of CI/CD. So thank you so much.